So I've been away from this channel for a while, and the reason for that has been I've just been busy with my business. I started this channel up for the reason of going on to Sertraline, and before I started taking, I just didn't want to take it. I didn't feel I wanted to rely on a tablet and medication. But at the time, as you know, mentioned in one of my other videos, I started a business. COVID affected it really badly. I was, a wedding videographer, so you can imagine no weddings, and I was in a bad place. I felt very isolated, especially when a lot of people you had to stay in. You couldn't do anything. People were having a WhatsApp call or call on phone, but you couldn't go out and hug people or have a drink with people. You were restricted to doing a lot of stuff, and that's especially doing what I love to do, is weddings. And then an external force of a person came into life, past barriers that I placed up, and were kind of sticking their finger into wounds that they created, and they were doing this for a very long time. So I had to kind of get support, and hence why Sertraline came into play. And at the time, I remember I just didn't want to do it, but with support of friends, I did. And it helped. As you all know, I did go through the effects of Sertraline, so I'm not really going to go into that. I just say that they are bad when you go into the first, but there is a level out. So then I went on to the 100 mils, and the reason for the 100 mils is because even after COVID, COVID still had a ripple effect in my life, and a lot of other people like myself have said the same thing. Photographers, videographers they feel like they've lost the motivation, and that's certainly where I was. I was posting every day and doing things and just feeling like I wasn't getting anywhere, and I was really bad at myself as well in terms of being like the sergeant major out of platoon.
You will not laugh, you will not cry, you will learn by the numbers, I will teach you.
But I was very harsh on myself, and for example, I would write a list down what I would need to do, and I would tick at the end of the day which ones I've done, and if I didn't finish them, I'd be really harsh on myself. You've not done enough, you ain't gonna get any work in, and blah blah the rest of it. And I just felt like a failure. So when I was working through a lot of the elements of myself and the business, one of the things I'd realised, I wasn't being social. I was very isolating myself. I would go out here and there, but I was just so focused on my business because I love what I do. But posting every single day, not doing anything, not connecting with people, it was kind of a downward spiral. So I decided to up the dose to 100 mils because the emotions that I was dealing with at the time, I felt lonely, I felt isolated, I felt miserable. And again, 100 mils, very similar to the 50 mils with the side effects. But it was kind of like what I would call a storm, like you're on the boat in the middle of the sea and it's the waves going up and down. You feel sick, if your anxiety's through the roof, you're not sleeping. And then one morning I woke up and it was calm. It was so lovely. The reason for this video is to talk about where I am today. And this is to try and give support to people and advice and of where I am. And I am changing now. In terms of my mindset was not in a great place because I didn't know how to deal with emotions during COVID and certain thoughts. I didn't know how to deal with this person that came into life and passed the barrier, crossed barriers into my life and personal zone. But they weren't a nice person. I didn't know how to deal with that, and sometimes I still have anger today. And I still have emotions today. But one of the things I started looking at with emotions, with my business, and especially with myself, with life in general, is how do I deal with emotions? How do I deal with bad days? So the good days are obviously a good day, sorry. I look at the bad days as kind of going, so what? It's a bad day. It's like sunny, then rain. One of the things I started looking at, and I would highly suggest you start doing this as well, when you feel you've got a bad day, look at it and going, why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel this is a bad day? Right, for me it was, I ain't getting work in. I'm not meeting people. I'm not getting outside. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. For example, driving lessons. I'd go out and I'd do driving lessons, and I've had loads of good days. And one minute I'd have a really bad day, and I'd come in and go, oh, I give up. I feel like giving up. And I'll start looking at all those elements of the negativity and kind of going, why do I feel like this way? And then I start writing them down. And then one thing I started doing, for example, the bad day with the driving lesson, went, Liam, it's a bad day. You'll learn a driver who's going to make mistakes. Without mistakes, you'd never learn. That's why mistakes are mistakes. There's no such thing as failure, only feedback. So I started looking at myself and my internal emotions and the negativity that was going through my head. And how I started dealing with it is, I when I looked at the kind of, I feel lonely and I'm not getting out. I do feel this anger inside myself for COVID and this person that's not in my life anymore, with thank God. And that's one thing, because I won't allow it into my life. And I looked at it going, but you've built the business, you've dealt with this person, you've come through COVID, and you're not giving up. And those are things you've got to look at and kind of going, right, what are the good things? Do I allow this anger and frustration to just weigh me down? Because anger and frustration and emotions are there to give you a clue that something's not right. One of the things I started doing, especially because I felt lonely at the time, was I had to push myself. God damn, I had to push myself. Because I felt that I was... I had no one to talk to about my emotions. And I saw this group called Andy's Man Club, great group, all over the UK. And the first event I was thinking, I ain't going to this, no way, no way, I'm not going to it. And I remember getting on my bike and cycling into Manchester, and about a mile up the road, no, the weather looks awful, doesn't it? Oh, it's a bit late, innit? Even though my mind was coming with these negative thoughts of trying to turn back, I was cycling, I just kept going. And I got to the group and I loved it. And I was kind of thinking, oh, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be this kind of group? Got there, it was like a lovely office, lovely people, coffee, biscuits, tea. You sit down, there's about 12 to each room. Everyone introduces themselves, you get this bowl, you pass it around, and you get these questions such as, what's the best thing that's happened to you this week? Or, what's the best thing, you've ever done? And then you get the ball and you kind of go, what's ailing you this week, or what do you want to get off your chest? And it's the ability to get things off your chest. And I loved the first week, and I go every single week or every 2 weeks if I'm busy with work. But I love it. The second thing I started doing is I bought an Apple Mac, Pro 2013, beautiful machine. I'm still surprised it looks in mint condition. It's absolutely beautiful. I cycle into Manchester. I go to Wetherspoons, and I get a coffee. £1.50. It's refillable. I sit down and I do work, upload, and I start looking for work, and it releases that feeling that I feel isolated at home because I work from home. That loneliness I feel. When I go to Andy Man Club, it makes me feel like I'm not alone. The fact that there are other people and other men in the same similar way I feel. When I felt this through COVID, or felt this, person attack me emotionally, there were other people who were worse off than me. And it felt like I was in a group of people who cared and listened, and I felt relieved. And it kind of bounced off this negative energy, the negative thought that I was the only one. And then the other thing I started doing, I had a bike that was sat in my hallway for 12 years. I fixed it up, and I'm out on my bike all the time. Love it. Love getting out on my bike. It was about a month ago, fell off it. Don't know how. I think there was a car behind me tailgating, and I hit the curb, come off my bike. And thankfully I was wearing a helmet. These two people come up to me. Oh, are you okay? I was out of it, literally out of it. And I waited about 20 minutes, got back on my bike and cycled home like I was a silly, stupid person. The next day I had massive headaches. Went to an A&E, and they went, yeah, you should have come to us. straight away because you've got a concussion. So, but the one thing I didn't do is like I would have done in the past. Oh, I'm too scared to go back on my bike because I fall off in it and I'm worried. I just cycled out again. And one of the things is that what I'm trying to do is, and this is what I highly suggest people, is to push past their fear boundaries. And what I mean by fear boundaries is these negative thoughts. And when you look at negative thoughts and negative energy, if someone's upset you or hurt you, you got to realise that their emotions, you're human. A Sertraline, I will tell you, will not take those emotions away. They will not take the negative thoughts away. You've got to work for those thoughts. You've got to work for emotions. You are human. You're a person. There's not one person that doesn't have an emotional crap day that wants to break down and cry. You know what I do? Sometimes I sit in my living room and I know I've had a bad day. I start making myself laugh. And it feels weird at first, and then after a while you kind of start laughing for no apparent reason, and it feels brilliant. It feels brilliant. If I'm angry at someone, really angry, I write them a letter, but I don't send it. So what I'm trying to say is, look at your emotions, not as an enemy, but as a reason to kind of, something's not right. If I'm lonely, like I felt, and I'm sorry about the bloody light, the sun keeps going up and down, so it's like getting dark and bright. Just the way I look at the emotions, I like, sunshine, dark, bright, dark. Look at your emotions and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Like myself, I felt lonely, but I go out now and meet people. I meet people, I get out and I talk to people, and I love it. My anxiety was there to try and stop me from, like I said, I was riding my bike. Oh no, it's dark now. The weather looks crap. And anxiety's there. It's like the fight or flight mode. It's there to protect you. It's not there to hurt you. It's there to protect you, like back in the apes when they had to run around away from bloody dinosaurs. No, cavemen, not apes. Sorry, got that wrong for sure. But today is that we don't know the difference. A mindset doesn't know the difference between a negative thought and an actual element that's going to hurt us. And like when I fall off my bike, will I fall off it again? If I do, I've got my helmet. I can't live life fearing, feeling in certain ways and not questioning those thoughts. And this is where I am today. I feel like I'm a lot happier. There are days I had bad days, and I look at those bad days and go, it's a bad day. And go out for a walk, go out for a cycle, and if it fills the whole day, then I'll just take it to this man club and say, yeah, last day I felt crap. I just felt, and all this. But what I'm trying to say is there are good days, there are bad days. You've got to look at each one as. I look at the bad days and kind of going, it's a bad day, so why am I feeling this way? And I question them. I write all my things down and I question them. And I pull out more positive things than actually looking at negative. One of the things I realised over this period of time of taking Sertraline was that I was always looking at negative things, always angry at things, always frustrated. And I realised that's because I never vented. I never said to things, stop. I never said to my mindset, stop. I never looked at them and started looking at them as an educational kind of terms, or as father figure, kind of mother figure, looking at them and going, okay, what's wrong? Tell me why you're feeling this way today. If people are in my life, I've gone, stop, no more, that's it, I'm done, and I move on with life. And if I have a day where I come back to that anger, I kind of going, okay, let it out, get it out your system, feel it. And that's the one thing you've got to do. Feel your emotions. They are there for a reason. Don't feel they're there because there's something wrong with you. Feel them, question them, and then go, right, how do I get past this? Nurture them. Because through every negative thought that you have, there's a positive outcome. It will lead to somewhere positive. I feel alone. Go out, have a walk. Start going out and meeting people. Andy's Man Club is brilliant, by the way. If you're a man, I'd highly suggest going. But this is where I am now. It's still a struggle, but me taking each day as it comes. Sertraline is just a crutch, and I don't know how long I'll be on it for, but to all those who are out there thinking about it, take him as a crutch, but realise and look at your life and kind of going, I'm human, I've got emotions, I've gone through crap, but look at your emotions, look at your thoughts, and kind of start writing them down, start analysing. There's nothing wrong with you, you're a human being that's got emotions. That's why psychologists get all paid a fortune. You just get, to listen. Some of the times they don't actually get down to the nitty gritty of what's going on. Be like an onion, peel it, get down to what's down at the core of the emotions. Do one, then get to the next, and then don't do them all at once. I love doing these videos. One of the things I love doing is talking about emotional side, and people are human. Anger is anger. If you want to cry, you can cry. And every person on this damn planet has got every emotion that I felt, you felt, and it's how you look at them and deal with them. Take each day as it comes. Start pushing yourself little by little, not massive. Take, like I said, with my business, checkpoints. If I don't get them all done, so what? I'm moving forward, and that's the whole point. Move forward. But do it by little. Realise emotions are emotions. Get out there, speak to your family, speak to people, take a cycle, go for a walk. If you're building a business, take it small chunk by small chunk, and that's it. Like the weather, it's great today, tomorrow's going to be rainy. Look at the rainy weather and go, it's feeding the plants. What am I going to do today? Anyway, take care of yourself, guys. If you want to see a video, let me know. If you want to share your comments down about how you feel, let me know. But most importantly, keep it up, keep the good work up. We're all in the same boat, and we all want a happy life. Until then, take care.